In order to culture microorganisms without contamination from all the bacteria and molds that constantly surround us, it is necessary to use aseptic technique. Before doing any manipulations, we should decontaminate the work surface using disinfectant. Next, a Bunsen burner is lit, as this will provide a sterilizing flame and also create an updraft of the surrounding area to help reduce contamination. The gas valve is fully open when the lever points at the outlet hose. To turn the gas off, it can be rotated 90 degrees in either direction. To light the flame, the gas is turned on fully and a flint striker is brought to the burner to ignite the gas. If the sparks do not fall close enough to the gas, it will not ignite. If the flame is not lighting within a few seconds, you should turn the gas off, wait a minute, and try again, so as to avoid a potentially explosive situation. Once the flame is established, the primary use will be to sterilize a wire loop used to transfer bacteria. The entire wire should be placed in the flame to ensure it is completely sterilized. It is not necessary to allow the wire to get red hot for more than a few seconds. The wire loop is not yet ready to use, as it must be cooled for at least 30 seconds to make sure it will not kill any of the bacteria you seek to transfer. To transfer bacteria from a liquid culture, you should first ensure the cells have not all settled to the bottom of the tube by gently flicking it with your finger. The loop is sterilized and allowed to cool. Without putting down the loop, the tube is picked up and the loop-holding hand is used to remove the cap. The mouth of the tube is passed into the flame to create an expansion of air in the tube to minimize microorganisms entering the tube. Without putting down the cap, the loop is used to draw out a drop of culture from the tube. If the loop is touched to the side of the tube, you may lose the drop, so be careful not to touch the sides. Once again, the mouth of the tube is flamed and then capped and set aside. The loop may now be used to transfer the bacteria. Here, we see the bacteria applied to a slide for staining. Once completed, the loop should be re-sterilized to prevent accidental contamination. Watch the steps again as a second culture is applied to the slide. To apply a culture to a plate with the goal of obtaining colonies arising from isolated bacterial cells, we start the same way. Once the culture is on the loop, a plate, which is kept closed and inverted until immediately before use, is picked up and a light inoculation is zigzagged over one quadrant of the plate. The plate is placed back down, the loop is sterilized and allowed to cool. When ready, a second zigzag is done, which starts by passing through some of the previous inoculation to pick up cells and then stays outside those areas, depositing cells once again. A third streak is done the same way, crossing over the previous streaks only 1 or 2 times. Done properly, this technique should yield single isolated colonies every time. When sampling from an area such as the skin for single colonies, the initial streaks for a plate may also be made by sampling with a sterile cotton swab, and then the second and third streaks are done with a loop as before. If the goal is to get a plate with a lawn of confluent growth, a swab is used to paint the plate back and forth. If the swab was covered on all sides with bacteria, it is turned as it is zigzagged. Generally, 3 or 4 passes are made on the plate in different directions to get a lawn with no gaps. Some common errors that can lead to contamination are not waiting for the loop to cool and killing the culture or melting the plate, holding the loop or using too much force so it digs into and gouges the plate, leaving a plate open while not in use, and streaking with the edge instead of the face of the loop. While it is nearly impossible to ensure a completely sterile area, with proper aseptic technique, you can keep your bacterial cultures free from contamination.